Hello everybody! Welcome to another Sunday Funday, and yes, we went and saw Bad Boys for Life.
Hey! Oh, shit. Oh.
Come on, man.
You could get that buffed out.
No, you can get that buffed out.
And not much of a prelude, though I will admit I have been making a mistake. I said that this was directed by Michael Bay. It's not directed by Michael Bay. Though, ironically...
Makes a cameo.
Yeah, he makes a cameo in the movie, and it's actually like, oh my god, there's Michael Bay. So, I believe we need to start this off with probably the person who is going to have what you would think would be the stranger opinions out of it all. Or more divisive opinions. Simply because Megan likes action, but she's not a fan of balls to the wall action movies.
Only when they're done right.
So, what about Bad Boys for Life? Was this done right in your eyes, or was it not?
I liked it.
She liked it. So,
He likes it. Hey,
Mikey.
Oh, don't mind me, folks. I'm full of the sillies.
That's just her being normal. So, what did you like about this movie a lot? Or what did you like about this movie? Mine's still a lot. I'm a young blonde. So,
Wait, what was the question?
what did you like about this
yeah.
movie?
It was very, very funny. It's like laughs a minute, just about.
But it never used the laughs to undercut a serious scene. In fact, if I could say something, this movie's probably one of the more serious out of the Bad Boys movies. Mine is only 3.
Yeah, because they're getting older, and Martin Lawrence, starting to slow down a bit. Will Smith, it's like, no, I'm peaking my life, I'm living my best life, and I'm gonna be chasing down bad guys till I'm 100.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in denial, in other words.
Yeah, he's an old fart.
Midlife crisis, can we say?
Mm-hmm. But it handles it in a way that feels genuine to the characters, for lack of a better way to put it. And also to kind of touch on
look at the babies. You're just tearing up, like, yeah.
And also Happy Mickey.
Well, just the older men get, the more sentimental they tend to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. We tend to become big old emotional sponges after a while. Mm-hmm. Squeezes, you see all the fluids come out.
And I will say that's another thing that I think I did enjoy. I don't know about you, but one thing I liked about movies a lot of times, I'm looking over like, honey, that's you.
Yeah, hopefully, or probably here in a few years, definitely.
Yeah, once Dwight looked over at me like that, and be like, "Whoa, why ever would you say that?"
Yeah, this movie actually does have quite a good comedy core, and again, it's one of those that, like I'm trying to say, it doesn't undercut any of the dramatic moments. Mm-hmm. When the movie needs to be dramatic, it's dramatic in a good way. It never feels...
Yeah, it didn't try to force a comedy.
Yeah, and also the drama never felt hokey, for lack of a better way to put it. It actually... It kind of helps that Michael Bay is not directing this movie. As much as I actually kind of like Michael Bay, he's ham-fisted when it comes to drama. Watch Pearl Harbor, for example. There is very few...
This is Mr. Explosions.
Yeah, there are explosions in space and Armageddon.
Or blowing stuff up. Like buildings.
Or the Earth.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm okay with Michael Bay doing an action movie, but when a movie needs to have a little bit of, lack of a better way, it needs to have a little bit more finesse, and needs to add just a little bit extra. These two new directors, it's actually 2 directors, decided to do this. I will say they handled this really well, and this to me, it feels like they're almost trying to make this into its own Mission Impossible kind of franchise. Maybe begin, because not to give away too much of the movie, but there's like a setup for a future movie specifically involving Will Smith. Which is fine. Not that Martin Lawrence was ever the weak link. He was actually one of the funnier parts of the other two movies. He's still very funny here, but Will Smith really, really nails it home with the drama, because we always know Will Smith can fucking act his ass off or axe off. And also, he really ups the comedy. There is just some damn good zingers he gets here and there that's just it's the funniest fucking thing ever. And not only that, but there is introduced, of course, Ammo, this kind of...
It's Task Force.
Yeah, and all for the different characters, even though I can tell you one thing, I don't remember many of their names. I remember one of them's a lieutenant.
Yeah, Rita.
Yeah.
And I know the one white dude is named Dorn.
Yeah.
I just remember because it's spelled like Michael Dorn. Just made me think of that.
Yeah, and it's not that they're bad by any stretch of the imagination, though they're kind of generic. Like, you have the tough guy that doesn't want to accept somebody new coming into the crew, and that's just no dude, he don't know nothing. I had faux jive bullshit. You have the other female who's a badass.
She's more generic of any of the characters.
Like, I don't think we remember her name at all.
I only know her name because when we're looking it up on IMDb, like, Kelly.
No, I didn't even remember them saying... They might say her name like once or twice. But,
yeah, like, at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Like, but also, here's another thing with Michael Bay not directing. Neither of the two women feel, for lack of a better way to how Michael Bay tends to direct, objectified. There's not very many, like, here's an ass shot. It's like, oh, it's just an ass in the camera view. It's a nice ass, but it's there for like 20 minutes. Yeah. Instead, they both, the Lieutenant Rita and, for lack of a better, for what I called her generic police woman, Kelly, they're just badasses. And that's actually kind of the theme, is that...
Yeah, there is one scene where they're undercover. Rita's in this really nice looking... not really form-fitting dress, but like it's really kind of shows off her body, shows off her curves. Mm-hmm. And it's more just like to highlight the fact that Will Smith apparently used to have a history with her, and Martin Lawrence is like, okay, you are a dumbass for letting her go.
Yeah. Yeah, like and even looks at him and goes, dumbass.
Yeah, looks over at her dressed really nicely and looking really pretty, and looks over Will Smith, dumbass.
Yeah, it's like, that was a really good burn.
Or there's one guy trying to hit on her while she's undercover, and Will Smith's like, just kick him in the knees, or knee
him in the balls.
Yeah, knee him in the groin, and just be done with it. So let's move on. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of highlight his jealousy. It's
cute.
Yeah, and Kelly, like, she's kind of scantily clad, but she's undercover as a waitress or something, so it's not really made much of a big deal about her, like, her skimpiness of the outfit.
Yeah, if this was a Michael Bay directed film, they were like, alright, well, Kelly, it's your go. And we would watch her walk up the stairs to deliver this, like, kind of drink and kind of make sure that's the guy they're looking for. But we would follow her butt the entire way, or her tits. This is...
Yeah, the focus of the whole scene is not on her. Or even really on Rita. It's about, like, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and also a bit of Will Smith's rivalry with one of the newer guys.
Yeah, and realistically, it's kind of the thing for the movie. It's all about Will Smith and Martin Lawrence growing older. And it's kind of the big theme throughout the entire movie. There's Martin Lawrence trying to come to grips with what he really wants to do with his life. Does he want to stay a cop? Because he's chunkier when he's older.
Yeah. And he's like, he's pretty much, who's it from Lethal Weapon?
He's Danny Glover.
Yeah. He was like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. He just doesn't want to be 2 days from retirement. Magic jump cut. Sorry. You might have heard something a little weird there. I had to deal with that. So, yeah, this is just kind of about them growing older and dealing with things. Martin Lawrence, one of the funniest damn things, and it's as a fan of the Bad Boys movies. Yes, I know people don't like Bad Boys 2. It's so silly and over the top. That's the reason why I love it. But if y'all remember from Bad Boys 2, Reggie comes to fuck back up. And I looked it up. It's not the same actor, but dear God, this guy looks like just like Reggie from Bad Boys 2. Mm-hmm. It turns out him and Megan actually went really well together, and hey, they had a kiddo together.
Yeah, they had a kid, and like 6 months later, finally get married.
Yeah,
and Michael Bay pops up at the wedding.
Yeah, it's like, hey. Yeah, I looked over and I was like, oh my God, it's Michael Bay. But it's actually kind of charming, kind of watching Martin Lawrence have to deal with being a dad now.
He's a grandpa.
Or yeah, grandfather. Yeah, dad. You are both a dad. But yeah, it's actually kind of cute. Again, he's trying to wrestle with, does he want to be in retirement? Does he want to come back? Because pretty much shit's going down dealing with Mike and an old case. Just leave it at that. Because there's actually quite a bit to it. And that's another thing I'll say this movie does well. You actually kind of give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Like, normally this would be just because it's, I would just give away this much. It has nothing to do with Bad Boys 2. Or Bad Boys 1 for that matter.
It's something from before we even meet Will Smith.
Yeah. So this is kind of just a thing that is created for the film. And normally it would be much like many kind of dramatic things, because it does try to be a drama in that essence. It would be ham-fisted. It would be kind of over the top and silly, for lack of a better way to put it. This handles it actually kind of well. It doesn't just like, oh, it's this thing. And also, there's not a mustache twirling villain. There is a villainess, and she's fucking insane. And I kind of get it almost at points.
Yeah, there's a bit of a telenovela type of choice, but you can kind of make fun of it.
Yeah, they do kind of poke at it, and it's like,
this is some telenovela shit.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't help it. It's like, I just found myself smiling throughout this entire movie. Another thing that, again, it feels weird I'm having to constantly do this, but to compare it with the Michael Bay Bad Boys movies, like, the action's just a little bit better paced at times. Maybe it's not as bombastic, but to be fair, this movie has kind of a smaller budget compared to many other action movies. Sure, it's still nearly $100 million budget, but nowadays a good-sized action movie's got $150 million.
Yeah, I'll say these bad guys, like, they really did feel like a threat, and like, yeah, there were stakes constantly throughout the movie.
Yeah, and
especially as Martin Lawrence trying to get Will Smith to slow down. It's like, dude, it's like we're getting older. We're not. It's trying so hard not to spoil it.
We're not getting younger, you know. And he almost wants to keep trying to talk Will Smith into kind of like sit down, just enjoy, you know, being
like we're just like
an older guy.
Maybe
just settle down, have kids or something like that.
Just, try and chill the fuck out and like try and settle down. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll be happier.
Yeah, and this also kind of went a little bit more into Mike, Will Smith's character. We're just calling them by their actors' names because it's easier to follow us at that time. Yeah. But they try to make a little bit more to explain what makes Will Smith in this movie. What makes Mike Mike. And that's commendable. It kind of doesn't exactly run true with certain things that we already know, such as the fact that we know that Mike has pretty much a trust fund, thanks to his parents were super rich, but he wanted to be a cop, so. And I will say there is some moments here where Will Smith is required to act it's supposed to be very dramatic, and dear God, him and Martin Lawrence actually pull it off. They actually make you feel. You're like, oh, actually I'm really kind of sad about this.
Yeah, when the movie's supposed to be funny, it's funny. When it's supposed to be dramatic, it's dramatic. And both actors really, really pull it off well.
Yeah. And when it's supposed to be action-packed, it's pretty damn action-packed.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have a lot of guns blazing, but it's never that overtly insane action to where you're going, okay, I'm starting to lose the narrative here.
I mean, it kind of is insane. Like, you see in the trailers, guy dropping on Martin Lawrence's wife's car.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my wife's car. Oh, it's her. Oh, she knows. She always knows.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like...
But it's like, you know, cheesy, like, 80s and 90s action film, kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. It never quite gets... the biggest gripe I could say is it doesn't get quite as action super, oh my god, that's so awesome, as compared to, let's just admit, with Bad Boys 2, the bridge chase sequence. That sequence was fucking awesome.
Yeah, this focuses a little bit more on the story.
Yeah, which, for better or worse, is the best way I can say it. It's not a bad thing that they focus on the story, just it's one that's like, I had to lose a little bit of action, but you get a much more personal story. You get something you feel like there's a lot more stakes to it all.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I really love Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys 2 especially, like, I can't remember the guy's name. They called him didn't they call him, like, the Butcher or something like that? The bad guy from it all. The Cuban dude. But yeah, if he had...
Rita's, last name Aritas.
Yeah. No, the guy from Bad Boys 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know when this...
No, this guy, he actually gives a shit about his kind of backstory. You actually care about him. And like I said, I was just saying, it's a mother and son thing. And at first I thought they were going to be really weird and creepy about it. No, she's just fucking crazy is all she is. And dear God, it's like, oh, you're a delight, lady. But, and yes, there's some great jokes with her insanity, is a nice way to put it. But no, the bad guy from the second movie kind of tells you something. I don't really remember them except for the bad guy from this movie. If he hadn't taken Martin Lawrence's sister, pretty much he would have just been gone, but we would have destroyed his entire enterprise here in America. It's the reason why it's like, here, because of that personal connection, all this feels a lot more impactful. The best way to compare it is probably with the Lethal Weapon movies. This is kind of the Lethal Weapon 1 in certain regards, where Lethal Weapon 1 was very much a story about Murtaugh, or actually more importantly, Riggs' backstory, stuff's dealing with him and stuff he dealt with in the past and all that. This, similar idea, though this is a little bit more bombastic with some of its action, which is cool, it's fun. And that's one of the best things I can say about the movie. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, is there any more you want to say about Bad Boys for Life?
Like I said, I liked it. Yeah, it was fun. Like, it was action-packed when it needed to be, dramatic when it needed to be, funny when it needed to be, and it's like everything just came together. Like, I can't even think of any part that actually kind of dragged.
No, because it all felt like it just kind of really flowed pretty well together. Never felt like, okay, well, we're kind of elongating this movie for one
Yeah, it's like,
reason
it was like entertaining all the way through from beginning to end. You know, they kept us laughing, they kept us, you know, entertained with the action sequences and the drama. And I would say, it was like one thing they did not do that action scenes nowadays seem to be doing is the action scenes that did not go on too long. Like, yes.
They went on just the right amount, is always what it felt like. Like I said, maybe they weren't as big as some of the last scenes, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be massive.
And they were a little bit pulled back, I think, not to where you can see what the hell is going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, not like that fight scene in Atomic Blonde.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
it's like really pulled back, like you really see everything going on. It was actually really neat, but yeah, I think that kind of like slightly pulled back, but not all the way, like really kind of worked for this movie.
Yeah. It's not, and also the editing, if I can talk about the editing since this is an action-heavy movie, it's not as bad and choppy as, like, say, a Fast and the Furious movie. Where if you watch any of the later Fast and Furious movies, they're edited really badly. Like, there's a way too many quick edits in some points. And sometimes it's like, okay, stop cutting around. We don't need to see, he's doing this while he's driving. Cut. It's like, stop movie. In this, where there's edits, they're needed or they don't feel egregious. It feels just right. So, what would you give Bad Boys for Life for a final score?
I keep one thing like it's a 9, but it's like really I don't think I can find any flaws in this movie. I mean, except for maybe like a minor thing with some of the music, but at the same time, the music did kind of fit in with the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta give it a 10. Perfect 10. It just...
It's not a perfect 10, unfortunately, for me. It's not that I'm trying to say this is bad. Like, if I gave it...
It had slight issues.
Yeah, there's just a slight enough issues that... Like I said, there's... The biggest issue is just there isn't that big grand spectacle kind of action sequence that I really was able to latch onto. There is some admittedly really, really well done action sequences. Just none of them are the boat sequence from Bad Boys 2. None of them are, hell, if you want to talk about another action scene from another movie, the duel in the Snoke's chamber in Last Jedi against all the Red Guards. Like, that's a fucking fantastic looking action sequence. Not saying that it needs...
And it's not the action sequences from John Wick 3.
Oh, no. That we remember for all the wrong reasons.
I was like, that I am really happy about.
Yeah, like, when they're a bit over the top, they're over the top in just the right way, but they're just not quite... They're not quite that... They're a really, really good meal, though. It's like going to a restaurant and getting a very, very fantastic meal. Not the best meal you've ever eaten, but a really good one. So, if I would give it like point scales, it'd be like a 9.75. It barely has enough that's not making a 10. But since I'm not a heathen, it's a 9. It's
I feel it would round up.
I can't. Because there's just that little bit where I can't say, I know I have made concessions before in the past. Logan is probably one of the best examples of it. Mm-hmm. But I can't help it. It's a fantastic action movie, though. And it actually has a lot of heart. The John Wick movies would be so much better if they would actually be bothered to do things half as good as these films have. Mm-hmm.
No heart and like all action, which just goes on far too long and is usually really just unimaginative.
Or when it tries to be imaginative, it's with
like
one
with
idea and it just keeps going over and over with the idea, like with the dogs in John Wick 3.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, I got it the first time the dog bit the dude's nuts. Can we quit? Okay, we're
yeah,
going to do it 12 more times.
It was funny the first couple of times. It was like, okay, can we teach dogs some new tricks? Or, get them out of the scene. Or something.
Yeah, just anything other than just regurgitating the same scene over and over again, it feels like.
Or anytime John Wick gets into a gunfight with somebody... It's like, it's so unimaginative. It goes on for far too long. It's like, okay, I am overdosing on testosterone over here. Can we end this damn scene already?
Hell, at least even say with Solo, a Star Wars story, at least whenever they were having a battle with stormtroopers. I know I keep bringing up Star Wars. But...
Nerd.
But, at least, during the train heist sequence, they were on top of a moving train and everything. It looked cool. It was a different area. At least they had that going for it to break up the monotony of what in all essence is a shootout.
Yeah.
It's like that's something that many directors would be much better at if they learned. Like, hey, it's not always how many bodies you put on the floor. It depends on how well you do it. Just remember
Or
that.
when John Wick 3 is like, it does not matter how long a scene can go on.
It matters how much you give a shit when it starts and when it ends. Because if you don't give a shit by the time it ends, then you've done something wrong.
It's like when while you're on a building up all the tension and just hanging on to it, and it's just, well, there's no tension anymore. It's like, just have the cat jump out of the freaking alley and...
But yeah, that's Bad Boys for Life. We will be back next week. And again, we're actually seeing a movie we're kind of really looking forward to. Oh, and unfortunately, I'm right now trying to blank, but I remember it comes out the 24th. I will remember it in...
Talking about Hansel and Gretel?
No, Hansel and Gretel comes out 31st.
Okay.
Yeah. I will look it up here in a second, because y'all don't care about us vamping. But hey, go see Bad Boys for Life. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
The Gentleman!
Yeah, The Gentleman. We're actually...
Gentleman, yes, The Gentleman, sorry.
Gentlemen.
That's why I said gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. He actually does say gentleman. He makes fun of things like that. Sorry.
Like I said, you're way too creepy when you do that. Good evening.
But hey, we'll see y'all next week with The Gentleman. And hey, it's another fucking action movie.
I'll say, it looks fun, looks funny.
I will take it back. It's not truly an action movie. Technically, it's a crime film.
Yeah.
But still, it does look fun. It's Guy Ritchie. What else can we ask for? Oh, it's also...
I think ever since King Arthur Legend of the Sword, I'm willing to cut him a lot of slack. Like, okay, yeah, like...
Fair Sherlock Holmes would have done it for you.
Well, it's like, that could have been a fluke, but then, like...
And Sherlock Holmes Game in the Shadows?
Again, that could have been a fluke.
2 flukes in a row? That's a lot of whales. She hates my puns so much. Love you. But hey,
This is going to be my life, huh?
Expect a lot of animal puns.
Or just puns in general.
Eh.
Puns, you got them.
Mm-hmm. But hey, we'll see y'all next week with some more Guy Ritchie fun. So, till then, we'll see you all later. So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.